Welcome to the next in our study of women of the Bible. This week we're returning to the New Testament and to the book of Acts. We're looking at two women from the early history of the church. The first of those is, I think, quite well known, that of the lady named Tabitha, or Dorcas. So Dorcas is named for the gazelle, a small, graceful and swift antelope known for its radiant, glowing eyes. Dorcas in the Greek, or Tabitha in Hebrew or Aramaic, was apparently well named. Dorcas, a Hellenist, or a female Jew who lived among the Greeks and spoke the Greek language, she had become a Christian. Luke, the author of Acts, calls her a Christian disciple. This is the first and the only time in the New Testament that this title is used to describe a woman. Dorcas lived in Joppa, a beautiful city situated on the Mediterranean coast, 35 miles northwest of Jerusalem. Being a seacoast city, Joppa saw numerous husbands and fathers depart into the dangerous, perilous waters. Many men never returned from the sea, and they left behind them bereaved and destitute widows and orphans. Dorcas had a heart for the Lord. She had loving eyes that saw another's most urgent need. With skilled fingers, this disciple put her faith into everyday action. She stitched beautiful garments, much like the lady in Proverbs 31 verses 13 and 20, and she distributed them generously to the city's widows and children, the most pitiful victims of shipwrecks and storms. Joppa's residents loved Dorcas for her continuous, humble, but worthwhile deeds of kindness and charity. After Dorcas became sick and died, her grieving friends prepared her body for burial, then sent two men to nearby Lydda to fetch the Apostle Peter. Peter came quickly. When he entered the upper chamber where the lifeless body lay, he saw the many widows wearing the garments that Dorcas had sewn. Asking them to leave, Peter knelt and prayed. He said, "Tabitha, arise." Taking her hand, Peter lifted her up and called her beloved friends to welcome her back to life. What a celebration that must have been. The seacoast city of Joppa was no longer the same after Dorcas returned to life. Upon hearing and seeing the miracle of the living Dorcas, many turned to the Lord and believed. No doubt this generous disciple, gifted with skilled fingers and a heart for the Lord, picked up her needle and thread and continued her compassionate and benevolent ministry to all who lived around her. How often do any of us offer the most meaningful service to God by doing what seems to be among the least important things in the world? The second lady that we're looking at today is another Mary. Mary, the mother of John Mark. So Scripture mentions this Mary, the mother of John Mark, only once. During the persecution of the early church by Herod Agrippa, this brave woman offered her house to the first group of Christians at Jerusalem as a place to worship God and to pray. Mary was a woman of means, with servants and a house large enough to accommodate the entire Jerusalem congregation. Since Scripture records no husband, Mary was probably a widow. Times proved difficult for Christ's followers during those early turbulent years. Herod Agrippa had imprisoned Peter after killing James, the brother of John, with the sword. Yet, in spite of the risks involved, Mary courageously opened her home regularly to Christians. After an angel miraculously escorted him from prison, Peter went immediately to Mary's house, a familiar place of hospitality for the disciples. There he found the entire congregation praying for his release. With the dauntless example of a mother like Mary, no wonder John Mark became a missionary, church leader, and the author of the second gospel. Many thanks.